Welcome to our weekly astrology podcast. This is for August 4th through the 10th of 2024. And in this podcast, I discuss the upcoming week. I review a bit about the planets' locations at the start of the week, and with a brief highlight on moon placements and how they relate to us astrologically. I often highlight interesting astronomical events to expect, and once in a while, I talk about events that have happened in the past astrologically and how they compare to our current times. Then I get into the meat of the show, which is what most of you come for, is the insights. I prefer to call them insights because I believe in free will. For example, whether a forecast is positive or negative, you are made aware ahead of time. You have power. You have power to choose to go with the flow or to consciously choose not to. This show is for everyone, all astrological signs. I do, however, reserve a section at the end specifically for Geminis because my quirky little friends, they need a heads up on what's going on. Geminis, so you stick around to the end for Gemini specific information. All right, this week we start with the sun in Leo in the fifth house, with the moon is also in Leo in the fifth house. Here are the planetary placements for the beginning of the week of August 4th through the 10th, 2024. This would be August 4th at midnight. This is how we start. Sun in Leo in the fifth house. The moon in Leo in the fifth house. Mercury in Virgo in the fifth house. Venus in Leo in the fifth house. Mars in Gemini in the second house, Jupiter in Gemini in the second house, Saturn in Pisces in the 12th house, Uranus in Taurus in the first house, Neptune in Pisces in the 12th house, and Pluto in Aquarius in the 10th house. We start this week with 4 planets in the 5th house. All right, so I'm going to cover first the sun, then the moon, then Leo, and then wrap it up with the 5th house. And since we have all this going on this week, we need to discuss what each of these mean in a little more depth than my usual episodes. So here we go. All right, the sun and moon. These are the top 2 planets in the zodiac. And yes, I know they're not actually planets, but we call them such for astrology purposes. You may hear them referred to also as luminaries. For each of us, our sun sign is what we outwardly exhibit, whether knowing it or not. It is it's how we appear to others. Our moon sign is what we feel inwardly. It's what we primarily keep to ourselves. And people who are insightful or who know you really well may be inclined to seeing or even knowing you by your moon sign, but most will not because it's your secret self, so to speak. Your moon sign is your subconscious self, the instinctual self, and the spontaneous self. Here's the fun part. In astrology, your moon sign tweaks your sun sign, partially transforming it as it brings different characteristics to the table. Kind of like mixing red and blue, you get purple. The sun and moon act together to create a more thorough picture of an individual, and I'm going to leave it at that for now because this could be a very long episode otherwise. So this is kind of just an introduction to how these things combine to tweak the full self. We'll definitely be diving deep into these topics in future episodes. All right, the sun, like I said, is your outward personality, how you express yourself, your realm of possibilities, your energy, your drive, your passion, your outward temperament, your creativity, and how you shine outwardly to others. Leo is ruled by the sun. The moon, as we mentioned many times, the moon is the inner you, emotions, how you express yourself, intuition, softness, and your feminine side. The moon is your reaction or how you personally experience the environment. For the moon rules the senses, hearing, sight, smell, taste, and touch. Also represent your childhood past and your reservoir of memories. It's your psyche, your subconscious self, your instinctual self. And Cancer is ruled by the moon. Now let's talk about the fifth house, since we have all that going on in the fifth house at the beginning of the week. The fifth house is associated with creativity, children, and play. Some astrologers associate the fifth house with romance. A more psychological interpretation of the fifth house is that it describes how you express yourself in a personal and creative way. This means how you create and how those things you create are expressed by you, including the children you bring into the world as you've created them. The ruling sign is Leo. The ruling planet is the sun. And that's how we start the week. Darn near perfection for Leo. This is Leo's week for sure. About Leo. Leo is ruled by the suns. Leos are self-confident, proud, and assertive. They are bright, outgoing people who tend to like to be in the center of attention. They are natural leaders and take charge seemingly effortlessly. Leo only needs to learn to control their arrogance and exercise a little humility. Once they master this, their abundant, brilliant energy can enhance the lives of those around them. Leo is a fixed fire sign. The symbol is the lion. Ruling planet is the sun. It rules the fifth house, and its color is a golden yellow. So as I mentioned earlier, we start the week with the sun and moon in Leo in the fifth house. This is all very, very favorable for Leo. And since Leo is ruled by the sun and the fifth house, this means they are very much at home. Everything should fit very comfortably and correctly. This things should not feel off. The moon hanging out there isn't a big deal because it brings some softness and balance to the scene. I want to tell you, these things will be covered in depth in future episodes. Episode by episode, I assure you that it will fit together nicely. All right, let's get on to some astronomical events of interest, shall we? Okay, I want to remind you again about the Perseids meteor shower. I think it's always fun to watch. The kids enjoy it too. I remember as a kid climbing up on the garage with my uncle and cousin, and we'd stay up late to watch the meteors every August. My uncle would point out various constellations while we were at it, and it was always a fun summer night. Anyhow, it will be putting on its best show around the 12th of August, according to my resources, and in the vicinity of Cassiopeia, however you choose to pronounce it. You'll want to get to a dark place away from city lights to catch the best show. Let's get on to the insights. All right. Insights for the week. Just a reminder, this is a general overview of what each of us can expect this week. This is for everybody, all astrological signs. It's a general astrological view of what we can all expect. All right. So August 6th through the 7th, the Sun sextile Jupiter, that placement. Well, let's go with it. Here we go. Hey there, buddy. It's time to get cozy with agreements, contracts, and teaming up with others. It's like hitting the jackpot for you right now. A pal or someone important might throw you a bone or a sweet opportunity that'll do wonders for you down the line. And guess what? Your kindness and support to others today will come back to you in spades later on. So keep spreading the good vibes. August 6th through August 9th, Mars sextile Sun. Right now, you're like a turbocharged engine revving at full throttle. You've got the oomph to tackle anything with gusto. It's time to shine and take charge, so get ready to rock it solo. Opportunities are knocking at your door, and you are about to grab them by the horns, so gear up for some serious action and get ready to boss it like a pro. August 8th through August 9th, Venus conjunct Mercury. Right now, you're like a magical unicorn, sprinkling charm, humor, and a dash of sparkle to convey your thoughts. Your sunny disposition is like a warm hug, and everyone wants to snuggle in. Your creative vibes are off the charts too, and it's like you've got a art gallery in your brain. Literature, poetry, and all things cultural have got your attention on lock. Say goodbye to serious brain workouts for now. It's time to float on clouds of love or just chill with some fluffy thoughts. Go with your unicorns. And August 10th through the 11th, Venus indicates you're feeling the urge to splash some cash and effort into sprucing up your surroundings to make them more fab and cozy. Maybe you're also thinking about jazzing up your own look, like trying out a new funky hairdo or splurging on some snazzy new clothes and a little makeup for you ladies. And hey, socializing is totally your jam at the morning, at the moment. So go ahead and stretch your stuff at those gatherings. Wherever you're going, whatever you're doing, snazz it up. Go for it. Shock everybody. Be like, ooh, look at that new hair this girl's got. Anyhow, all right, here, let's move on for Geminis. Geminis. All right. This is just for my quirky friends out there. This is for Geminis only. And people who may be associated with Geminis, it's good to prep yourself for what they're up to. Um, most will not be relevant to other signs. I will say, though, if you have a Gemini moon or Gemini rising, there may be a touch of relevancy for you here. So let's do it. August 4th through August 6th. Venus position indicates your personal relationships are like a cozy blanket of happiness, peace, and good vibes. Right now, you're just chilling, enjoying fun stuff in life. Unless the stars say otherwise, which they don't, you're not one to push for things to be all intense. You prefer to go with the flow and let things come to you. So just sit back and let the universe do its thing. August 6th through 7th, Sun sextile Mercury. It's a period where you'll be spilling your thoughts like a fountain. Oh, of course, Gemini things. Get ready for some chatty vibes, smooth talks, and successful exchanges. Things will be moving at lightning speed with loads of back and forth messages, calls, and little missions that need your brain to be sharp as a tack. August 6th to August 7th, Venus sextile Pluto. Your emotions toward your pals and your reactions to life's ups and downs are like super intense and profound. You're all about that love, sharing, and feeling accepted. It's a big deal for you. Right now, you've got a chance to figure out what's holding you back from forming those deep connections with others. Maybe it's some old grudge or a forgotten hurt that's lurking in the shadows. It's time to shine a light on it and let it go. Just let it go, dude. Let it go. Let it go. Is that how it goes? Song? I got to talk to the grandkids and see what they say. August 6th through August 7th, Venus trine Neptune. Right now, you're like a beauty sensing superhero. Your empathy levels are off the charts, making you a giving a guru. You're all about those warm fuzzies and deep connections with others. Forget material stuff. Spiritual vibes is where it's at for you. August 6th to August 8th. Today, the sun's position suggests, specifically August 7th, the sun's position suggests it's time to celebrate the blossoming of friendships and teamwork. You're nailing that perfect balance of give and take, chatter, and ears open. So go ahead, dive into those group projects or hangouts. They're going to do wonders for you. Also, on the 7th, you're feeling super over boring. You're feeling super over boring stuff and rules. It's all about getting wild with your ideas, trying new things, and maybe even coming up with some wacky inventions. You're not about following the crowd right now. It's all about being your own unique self and maybe even throwing out a bit of crazy for good measure. Embrace the excitement and jump on the quirky chances that come your way. And that's Sun trine Uranus, August 7th. It's going to be a cuckoo day. Sounds like fun. August 8th, Sun opposition Jupiter. Geminis, your big dream is finally happening or getting thumbs up from others. You're feeling pumped and ready to take on some wild risks, maybe even splurge a little too much. Go big or go home, right? August 9th, Jupiter conjunct the Sun. Right now, you're happy, a go lucky unicorn prancing through a field of rainbows. You're feeling like the king or queen of the world, full of sunshine, rainbows, and all things nice. With your head held high and a skip in your step, you're ready to embrace wild life with open arms. Forget about yesterday's blunders. Today is all about dreaming big and reaching for the stars. All right, August 10th. Actually, this is August 10th, but this is kind of for the whole week. Jupiter opposition Uranus. In this era, spontaneity and freedom take center stage. Your vibe is super cheerful with a touch of humor and eccentricity thrown in. You might even surprise yourself by acting a bit out of the ordinary. Like, okay, even more out of the ordinary? Is that what that means? Because we're pretty out of the ordinary as it is, don't you think? Anyway, it's all because your inhibitions are lowered, making you feel carefree and fantastic. This sounds pretty fun for Gemini. August 10th, Mercury trine Neptune. Right now, your creative vibes are on fire, your artistic side is doing the happy dance, and your spiritual self is giving high fives all around. Your mind is like a magical unicorn, full of imagination and intuition. It's like your psychic powers are cranked up to level 100. Instead of adulting and focusing on boring stuff, you're all about painting rainbows, dancing to music that only you can hear, and floating away in daydream land. Embrace the whimsy. All right. Thank you again for joining me. Catch y'all next week. And later. Bye bye now.